has become a central part of daily life among young adults. Platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X are widely used for entertainment, communication, and self-expression. While these platforms provide benefits such as increased connectivity and opportunity for self-identity formation, concerns have been raised about their impact on mental health. Excessive use of social media has been associated with lower psychological well-being, poor sleep quality, and reduced physical activity. On the other hand, balanced use may foster positive connection and support network. The study explores the relationship between social media engagement and psychology well-being among young adults, focusing on how use patterns such as hours spent per day, number of posts, and engagement frequency may influence well-being. The objective of this study are to describe the pattern of social media engagement among young adults, to assess the psychological well-being of young adults using the WHO Wellbeing Index, to examine the relationship between social media engagement and psychological well-being, and the last one is to determine which variable best predict well-being among young adults using simple linear regression. Significance of study. This study is significant for several reasons. For the first one is, for young adults, it provides insight into how their social media habits influence mental health and well-being. For second, for educators and health professionals, finding can inform awareness program and mental health support initiative. And the third is for policymakers. The result may contribute to the development of digital well-being guidelines and intervention. The last one is for research. This study adds to the growing body to literature on the psychology effect of social media use. Limitation of study. The study is subject to the following limitation: reliance on self-report data, which may be biased or inaccurate. Second is a cross-sectional design, which does not allow for causal conclusions. Third, the sample may not be fully representative of all young adults, limiting generalizability. For the last one is difference between platform. TikTok and IG may not be fully captured.
In this section, I will explain the methodology of the study. Methodology is important because it describes the steps that we use to collect, organize, and analyze data. I will cover the target population, how we sample our participants, the type of data collected, and the statistical techniques applied, including descriptive analysis and regression model. For the data description, our study targeted young adults aged to 18 to 30 years old, as they are the most active users of social media. The sample will be collected from university, colleges, and workplaces. We use stratified sampling by employment status because it can also ensure balance between students and workers. Data will be collected using an online questionnaire, which included the WHO-5 Wellbeing Index, measures of social media use, as well as lifestyle factors like physical activity, sleep quality, platform preferences, and employment status. Continuous, ordinal, and nominal scales are used depending on the type of variable. Graphical techniques that can be used for analysis is histogram and box plot that can be used for continuous data to examine distribution and outliers. Bar and pie chart will summarize categorical data, while scatter plot will help us visualize relationship between social media use and well-being. For the numerical techniques to calculate this data is the descriptive statistic for the continuous variables. We can use mean, median, mode, range, variance, and standard deviation. Meanwhile, categorical data, we can use frequency tables and percentages. Regression analysis is used to test predictors of psychological well-being. We use simple linear regression. The dependent variable is the WHO-5 Wellbeing Index. Independent variables include social media hours per day and sleep quality. The regression model will provide coefficients showing the effect of each variables and the R-square value that indicates how much variation in well-being is explained by this factor.
Data description. The regression result indicate a significant negative relationship between social media use and psychological well-being among young adults. The intercept show a baseline well-being score of 51.20 when no time is spent on social media. The coefficient for social media hours is negative 1.13, meaning that each additional hour of daily social media use is associated with a 1.13 point decrease in well-being. This suggests that higher social media engagement contribute to lower levels of psychological well-being. This graph is showing that the scatter plot point represent individual data, while the red regression line indicate the overall trend.
From the table, the number of respondents is 200. The minimum and maximum values for social media hours are 0.2 and 7.0 respectively, with a mean of 3.18 hours and a standard deviation of 1.46. For posts per week, the values range from 1 to 23, with a mean of 8.71 posts and a standard deviation of 5.07. The minimum and maximum for daily engagement are 2 and 86, with a mean of 27.3. Engagement and a standard deviation of 17.02. Physical activity range from 15 to 117 minutes, with a mean of 46.86 minutes and a standard deviation of 19.63. Finally, the Wellbeing Index ranged from 0 to 71.5, with a mean score of 54.78 and a standard deviation of 12.09. Next, the histogram of social media hours revealed a concentration around 2 to 4 hours, with fewer individuals at the extremes. The histogram of Wellbeing Index displays a fairly normal distribution, centered around moderate well-being levels, scores between 12 to 18. This suggests that while some individuals report very low or very high well-being, most fall into a moderate range. For the bar chart of primary social media platform, among the respondents, TikTok is the most popular platform, followed by Instagram, Facebook, and X. This suggests that TikTok dominates young adult social media engagement, which may influence the type of content consumed and its impact on well-being. For the scatter plot of social media hours versus well-being index, the scatter plot suggests a weak negative relationship between social media hours and well-being scores. As social media use increases, well-being tends to slightly decrease, although the relationship is not very strong.
The correlation result shows that social media behavior are strongly linked. Students who use social media are frequently also spend more hours, post more often, and engage more daily. However, certain platforms are less associated with posting and engagement. When it comes to well-being, sleep quality has a very strong positive relationship, meaning better sleep leads to higher well-being. In contrast, frequent use of social media and longer hours online are linked to lower well-being. On the other hand, physical activity shows a small but positive relationship with well-being. suggesting that exercise improves mental health and can balance negative effects of social media. In summary, while social media habits go in hand, too much use may reduce well-being, whereas good sleep and regular exercise are protective factors that improve overall well-being. The regression model produced R value of 0.884, which indicates a very strong positive relationship between the predictors, which is social media use, variables, sleep quality, physical activity, employment and platform, and the outcome variable. The R-score value is 0.782, meaning that about 78.2% of the variance in the dependent variables are most likely well-being based on the dataset. It can be explained by the predictors included in the model. This is considered a very high explanatory power. The adjusted R-square is 0.773, which is slightly lower but still strong. This adjustment accounts for the number of predictors in the models and indicates that the model is not overfitted. It confirms that predictors collective explain about 77.3% of the variance in the well-being. The standard errors of estimate is 5.7591, which represent the average distance that can be observed values fall from the regression line. A smaller standard error indicates that the model predicts the outcome more accurately, and in this case, the value suggests a reasonable level of accuracy.
In conclusion, the study provides evidence that social media engagement, particularly in terms of prolonged daily usage, is associated with reduced psychological well-being among young adults. While active posting and engagement patterns varied across platforms, it was observed that higher screen time tended to coincide with lower physical activity and poorer sleep, both of which negatively influence well-being outcomes. On the other hand, individuals who maintain good sleep quality and engage in regular physical activity reported significantly better psychological health. Thus, while social media remains an integral part of young adults' lives, its potential risk must be acknowledged and balanced with healthier habits. Based on the findings, it is recommended that young adults practice mindful social media use, limiting excessive daily screen time while prioritizing offline activities that contribute positively to mental health. Educational institutions and employers could play a supportive role by promoting digital well-being programs and encouraging physical activity. Policymakers may also consider awareness campaigns highlighting the impact of poor sleep and excessive online activity on psychological well-being. Future research should investigate the quality of online engagement, including the role of positive versus negative interactions, to better understand how social media can leverage for enhancing rather than diminishing well-being.